The Codex Gigas, also known as the Devil's Bible, is the largest and probably one of the strangest medieval manuscripts in the world. Dark legends surround the tomb and its origins, and the full-page portrait of the devil increases its air of mystery. But what is the manuscript really about? The Devil's Bible is famous for two features: its size and the unique representation of the devil. The codex became known as the Codex Gigas, giant book, due to its immensity. It is so large that it took more than 160 animal skins to make it, and it is so heavy that 2 people are needed to lift it. It measures 36 inches, 91 centimeters tall, 20 inches, 50.5 centimeters wide, and almost 9 inches, 22.86 centimeters thick. It weighs 165 pounds, 74.8 kilograms. Legendary origins of the Codex Gigas. According to legend, the medieval manuscript was made out of a pact with the devil, which is why it is sometimes referred to as the Devil's Bible. The uniformity of the writing suggests that it was written by one scribe, and stories say he was under immense pressure when he created the book. The story behind the making of the Codex Gigas is that it was the work of one monk, sometimes named as Herman the Recluse, who was sentenced to death by being walled up alive for breaking his monastic vows. As a last gasp for survival, he made a deal that he would create a book filled with the world's knowledge in return for his life. His proposal was accepted, but his freedom from death would only be granted if the monk managed to complete the monumental manuscript in one night. The only way the monk could see himself completing the insurmountable task was with the help of the devil. After selling his soul, the scribe was able to fulfill the order and gain his freedom. The legend claims that this pact with the devil can explain why the Prince of Darkness is depicted in such a prominent way in the Codex. However, it is not known where this legend started, and it is suspected that it was religiously propagated. How was the Codex Gigas actually made? Although the story of a pact with the devil is rather far-fetched, analysis of the level of uniformity of the Latin text does suggest that it was written by just one scribe. That person may not have been Herman the Recluse, but it was likely a 13th century monk who lived in Bohemia, a part of the modern Czech Republic. According to the National Geographic, it would take one person working continuously, day and night, 5 years to recreate the context of the Codex Gigas by hand. That's excluding the illustrations. Therefore, realistically, it would have taken at least 25 years for the scribe to create the codex from scratch. Yet all this time, the writing retained an incredible uniformity from start to finish. This may be the source of the legend which says that the monk wrote it in just one day. Originally, the Devil's Bible was comprised on 320 vellum pages, created with the skin of 160 donkeys. But at some point in its history, 10 pages were removed. It is believed that those pages were the rule of Saint Benedict, a guide to living the monastic life in the 6th century. What is the Devil's Bible really about? The Codex Gigas contains a complete Vulgate Latin translation of the Bible, as well as 5 other major texts. It begins with the Old Testament and continues with Antiquities of the Jews by Flavius Josephus of the 1st century AD, the Encyclopedia Etymologia by Isidore of Seville of the 6th century AD, a collection of medical works of Hippocrates, Theophilus, and others, the New Testament, and the Chronicle of Bohemia by Cosmas of Prague of 1050 AD, the first history of Bohemia. Smaller texts are also included in the manuscript, with the most famous ones including writings on exorcism, magic formulas, and a calendar with a list of saints and Bohemian people of interest and the days on which they were honored. As an illuminated manuscript, there are illustrations and decoration found throughout the Codex Gigas. Many of the drawings are impressive, but the most famous are the full-page drawings of the devil and the heavenly city, which are facing each other. The devil is depicted as a large, monstrous figure, taking up the entirety of hell. He is drawn with large claws at the tips of outstretched arms, red-tipped horns, small red eyes, a green head, and 2 long red tongues. He's shown crouching between 2 large towers and is wearing an ermine loincloth. This material was usually used by royalty, and it may be a nod to the devil as the Prince of Darkness. Even though portraits of the devil were a common occurrence in medieval art, his depiction in the Codex Gigas stands out for presenting him all alone on a large page. Across from the devil is a full-page representation of the heavenly city. It is shown in tiers of buildings and towers behind red walls. Towers also project from the walls, and the heavenly city is bordered with 2 larger towers, like the devil's portrait. This image probably was meant to inspire the ideas of hope and salvation, in contrast with the evil nature of the devil. Taken together, the portrait and city probably were meant to be a reflection on what would await you if you lived a good or bad life. The text before the heavenly city refers to penitence, and the text after the devil is about exorcisms. The devil and the heavenly city are the only illustrations occupying full pages in the Codex Gigas. The known history of the Codex Gigas. As noted above, the true origins of the Codex Gigas are unknown. In the text, there is a note stating that the manuscript was pawned by the monks of Podlazica in the monastery of Sedlec in 1295. From there it was located in the Bjevnov near Prague. Since the monasteries associated with the early history of the Codex Gigas were located in Bohemia, and the text refers to that area's history, it is generally accepted that it was created in Bohemia too. The next mention of the Codex Gigas is when Rudolf II took it to his castle in Prague in 1594. It stayed there until the Swedish siege in Prague at the end of the 30 Years' War in 1648. The Swedish army looted the city, and one of the treasures they took was the medieval manuscript. That's how it ended up in Stockholm. In 1877, the Codex Gigas became part of the collection of the National Library of Sweden in Stockholm, where it is still found today. Stories and legends say that the Codex Gigas was cursed and brought disaster or illness on whoever possessed it during its history. Fortunately, the National Library appears immune to the curse of the Codex. Anyone in Sweden should pay a visit to see the Codex Gigas, and those who can't see it in person can view the digital pages of the Devil's Bible online. Do not be afraid, it is quite safe to read the so-called Devil's Bible. If you enjoy this video and want to see more like it, please consider subscribing to us and hitting the like button. Feel free to write a comment below and suggest which theory you want to see next. If you'd like to further support this channel, please consider joining. Our membership link will be found in the description box below. We appreciate your support, and as always, thanks for watching.